questions and answer them in real time.
It didn't go.
Oh, it didn't?
Now it went. Yeah. YouTube.
What do you mean? It looks like it's playing.
It just went.
Oh, okay, so it's working?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. So for those of you guys who are new here, basically what it is it's a weekly live show that I do every Friday night. Fireside. Let me get those waters out of the way there. Fireside, and I take some of your most frequently asked lawn care questions and I answer them live and in real time. Now, for those of you guys who are new here, the way that works is you go below the video, exit full screen mode, and you'll see a text message icon that says live chat underneath it. You click that, you'll get access to the live stream, and then within that you can go ahead and type a question, and then at some point during the stream, as I scroll through, I will be able to answer it. So that's how this show works. It's driven by you guys, the community. So anything goes. Ask a question, start a conversation, and I'll be here to respond. So with all that being said, let's get into the questions, which there aren't any right now. Got a few. Got to wait for some people to come in.
I love watching delays. It's so great.
Right?
Here. It's something else for you.
Okay. Maybe let me restart mine too, because it's always slow like that. There we go. Now it's. Let's get into the questions. That was like 10 seconds ago.
I know. I said I love delays.
So do I. We got 10 people in here, so.
I got 11.
Yeah, we do. We have a drink here.
You're doing perfect.
I mean, the picture looks good. Just gotta wait for some people to come in now.
35. Oh, we're almost hitting 40 on.
What's going on, everybody? We got some people coming in here, some familiar faces. PA Boots, Pennsylvania Boots. I believe that's how I say it. How you doing, brother? Welcome back to the show. Kenny Cooper, how are you doing tonight? Weird. I'm actually on time. In fact, that's actually been a theme this week. So, I'm naturally known as the kid that's late to class. I'm always like 20 minutes late at most, probably an hour late to class sometimes. But this week I've been coming in on time, and everybody's like, "What? Jake's on time?" It's the same way with this show. Like, I'm actually on time this week, and it's kind of weirding people out. People are wondering if I'm okay, because I'm always known as the late guy. But anyway, I'm here, I'm fine, better than ever, and that's probably why I'm on time tonight. So, let's go ahead and get in here. Any suggestions on killing off moss in the grass? Nathan Tibbetts, I really haven't experimented with this on my own, but there are products on the market like Moss Out, which I don't have a link for. You'll have to go look that up yourself. But it's called Moss Out, and what it'll do is once you spray it down, it'll help suffocate that moss and get it out of there. Now, I don't know much about the science behind that, so I really can't explain it, but in the meantime, based on what I've been seeing, especially from my buddy Pete over at GCI Turf, great product, works really well. So, once again, the name of that product is Moss Out. Look it up, Moss Out for lawns. Kenny Cooper, first question of the night. How was your week, Jake? Kenny Cooper, great as always. Great as always, man. You just got to make the most out of everything, right? Andy's Lawn Care and Outdoor Adventures. What is going on, brother? Happy Friday. Got my first snow of the year, about 5 inches. Final mow is done, and got a snow blow for the first time. Did you get any snow, Andy? Yes, I did. And fortunately, it's actually starting to melt now, which is going to give us a couple of days in the 40s and the 50s, which would be perfect for me because I have tons of plans as far as Christmas lights go. Now, for those of you guys who want to find out those details, I recommend you subscribe to the channel, as those videos will possibly be coming out at some point here in November or possibly in early December. So stay tuned for those coming out. Got it on Monday. Dylan, what's up, brother? How you doing? I had a great time chopping wood with you last week, man. You killed it. You and your two brothers saved us a lot of time. So thank you for coming and helping us means a lot. I hope you guys come back here too. I haven't seen you guys in a while. Sean, can't wait for the snow to melt so I can finish my winterizing. Sean, I couldn't agree with you more. I still have yet to winterize my equipment, but even after I winterize it, I'm still going to have to use it because customers got leaves on their lawns, so I got to get out there and make the time and get those leaves mulched up and down into the grass. So just because I winterize stuff, I'm not officially done, but I'm sure you guys can relate to that aspect of things. Jake the Lake Kid, I love that, Kenny. Yes, Turf Therapy, I will be going to Lawncology. Now, Lawncology is, I believe it's at the end of January this year, so it's a little earlier. Details aren't 100% final on how I'm getting there, but we'll be finalizing that soon, so stay tuned. But yes, I will be going there. Are you still cutting the tree? Dylan, yes we are. We still got another truckload and a half, 2 truckloads to go. Man, I should have brought you. You could have helped us. I know you would have had fun with it. By the way, in case you're wondering, this right here, this is my part-time audio tech, Jonathan. I don't even know if I should consider him part-time. This is only his second time doing this, but he's cool enough to come out here and help me, so I can't complain. Let's see what we got here. Is there a school for lawn mowing? Nate Polaric, your name sounds familiar, dude. I think you go to school with us. I guarantee it. I could be wrong, but your name just sounds familiar. Like I've heard your name at school before. But is there a school for lawn mowing, dude? All I can say is that the internet has been my school for lawn mowing. There probably is, but I just don't know. But all I can say is that the internet was my school. I heard moss can be pH related. Kenny Cooper, it probably is, but I try not to get that complicated into it, at least not yet, because I'm not that far advanced into things. But I just like to look at it in the fact that, hey, the reason you have moth is because of the fact that you have a ton of trees in your yard that are creating a ton of shade, and when that happens, moss is more likely to form. So if you have a lot of shade in your lawn, that's probably going to dictate the soil pH too. So at that point, maybe consider. So at that point, again, the moss out product would be perfect for you. Or if you can make a change on your property culturally, that would be perfect for you. What's going on?
It's jumping.
Is it?
It's going from 35 to down to only 500.
Oh. Shaking over there. You all right? Looks like you're having an aneurysm.
No, I'm just pissed at this.
You're like, you better not move. You better not move. I'm working on the pH, but in the meantime, where do you want me to go from here, buddy? DIY Lawn Care Monster. What's up, Jake? Hey, why would stepping on your lawn when there's a frost kill that spot that you stepped on? Okay, DIY Lawn Care. This is a great question. The sole reason is the fact that the lawn is in a very delicate state. I want you to think about it. Once we get to a point in the year where the temperatures are getting cooler, the days are getting shorter, the lawn is going to brittle up and harden, as well as the soil, and the lawn is going to check out and go into what is called summer dormancy. So at that point, it's at a very delicate state compared to when it's alive. It's kind of like a human, right? When we're healthy, we can take anything, but when we're sick, we're very weak. It's the same with the lawn. The only difference right now is that it's hibernating for next year. And when you walk on the lawn when it's all brittle like that, you're more likely going to cause some damage than you would if it was alive. Which, by the way, if it's alive, the only thing I would recommend to you is just regulate your foot traffic. But if it's in a point like right now where it's starting to look brittle, brown, and dormancy, as we often say here in the community, then at that point you might not want to walk on it because you are going to cause some damage as the lawn is in a delicate state. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Morganite clone? Do you notice any difference between the two, the 430? Andy's Lawn Care Adventures, I can't say that I do. I really didn't do an in-depth comparison this year, so we'll probably have to mess around with that more next season. Stay tuned. Kenny Cooper, not sure how many of you have found his channel yet, but check out Turf Therapy, great new channel. He's going to grow fast. You know what, Kenny? I couldn't agree with you anymore, because all the new up-and-coming creators in here, I love the value that you're bringing to the table, especially if you got a spray business. Put it out there. I want to hear about it. What would you rather run, Skag, Exmark, or Husqvarna? John Schneider, can't speak on it. Can't speak on Skag and Exmark. Never owned or used one. Now I did. Now that doesn't count driving them at GIE, because while that is kind of a demo, it's not as thorough as a demo as it is getting it delivered to your house and being able to mow with it. Because when you're at GIE, you really can't do a whole lot of mowing or anything. So I can't really speak on the Skag and the Exmark. But I did have a Husqvarna push mower for a little bit before I gave it to my uncle, which you've seen in that series. And I've had nothing but good things to say about it. Really good mower, cuts really well. Not sure if I asked this last week, but do you have an update on how the overseed went at your uncle's place? Will you be working on that lawn in 2020? Andy, I did not clarify this last week. Now, let me go ahead and clarify my rationale there. So, my uncle's lawn is what I termed the Lost Project lawn. And when I say the Lost Project lawn, that's not just a name. I'm actually going to treat it like a Lost Project lawn. It's basically a lost project, right? That's what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat it irregularly. I'm going to wait a couple of weeks I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go to the wayside. I'm going to let it go to the wayside until I can take care of it, and then once I get the time, I'm going to get over there and do some stuff to it if I can. So that's really the whole rationale I'm taking with this lawn, as it is a lost project. Now, more on that to come soon. Hope that answered your question.
It's on the Wi-Fi.
Is it? Man, I'm getting hot down here. I'm baking.
Someone's on the Wi-Fi. Fluctuating too much. We're losing rates. Yep.
Yes. Is it buffering a little bit? Well, here, while that clears up, I'm going to put another log on this fire. It's starting to feel like a sauna down here.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Hi Jake, I'm going to take my permit test tomorrow for driving. Dude, that's awesome. I wish you luck. Kenny Cooper, my preference would be Exmark. Is it for personal use or business? Good question. I'm looking to clarify that because I like to learn about this stuff. I'm always interested. I own a 150 BT. It's very good. A bit underpowered, but excellent airflow. I love that. Because John Schneider knows, he's a regular here. If there's one thing I talk about as far as the health of your grass grows, as far as the health of your grass goes, sorry about that, airflow is key. How's it looking? Is it still buffering a bit? Excellent connection.
It just went back.
You know what though? I'm not getting any. I'm not really getting a whole lot of comments in here, as far as cracking up. You know what's funny though? When it kept messing up on us the other night, and you guys who were watching this last week, you guys know when you were here. I was mad. We were both very frustrated. I said some things I shouldn't have. All of it got recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the camera was working the whole time. So we're over here like, man, this isn't working, and this thing is this camera's filming us, and we don't realize it's like, man, what the? Oh my god. Yeah. From now on, I'm just going to assume it's working.
Yeah. Just It's like guns. Always like seeing it's unloaded.
Because John's over here watching the bandwidth. He's like, don't you dare! Hey Jake, I might have a lot of irrigation experience by next summer. My backflow preventer cracked this afternoon, so I'll be teaching myself how to replace it. Awesome, RVA. Can't wait to hear about that.
Backflows. I hate those.
Backflow preventer, that sucks.
Yeah, it's on the valve systems.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. When this falls out, I have to dig out one of my sprinklers. It broke.
Oh, for what?
One of the sprinkler lines, the feed lines, where it cracks and spills everywhere.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Hey Jake, have a lot of irrigation I just read that one. I don't know what my deal is tonight. Mike Head, how's the truck coming along? Mike, I'm happy to say I have the truck back. I was actually thinking about going to the tree farm with my dad and my neighbor. As you guys saw last week, I mentioned that we got the basement stocked up with wood, and you guys gave me a lot of crap about that, saying that I shouldn't burn this because it's fresh. I mean, I'm sure you would agree, right? It's fresh wood, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Luckily, though, my neighbor still has a good stash of seasoned wood from last year that's drying out, so that's what's burning right now. And I'm actually starting to take it. I'm actually starting to implement what you guys are telling me, because one of the problems I've been running into with this new wood here, because it is oak, I'm sure you guys know if there's one thing oak is very notorious for, is the fact that it burns very slow and very hot. So I've been burning this the past couple of weeks, and you guys have been giving me a lot of flack about it, which I understand. I'm learning as I go, so cut me some slack. Okay, so I'm burning it here. It's not burning. It's burning very dim and very hot, and I really didn't have much of a fire, nor did I have much heat. So probably not gonna bother messing with that for a while this year. I'm gonna let that dry out a little bit more. I guarantee, since it's inside though, it will dry out a lot faster because of all the heat. Yeah. A little faster.
Depending on the humidity.
So I'd give it like, what do you think, like 6 months, maybe 8?
6 to a year.
Yeah, 6 to a year. Because my neighbor has stumps from March that we were burning the other day, and they were catching just fine. And he keeps them out in his garage. It's a cold garage. Alright. Here we go. You cut out just after you said he was watching the bandwidth. That's so funny. That's awesome.
Perfect timing.
Perdiamine is better early season, dithiopyr late season. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. So yeah, to answer your question, Andy, perdiamine or dithiopyr, perdiamine is better for early season, as it does have a better sticking agent to get you through the rain, whereas the dithiopyr does better with later season control, as it will better control more mature crabgrass. So the best way to remember it is perdiamine first, and then you do dithiopyr. Or, sorry about that, let me go ahead and correct that. Perdiamine first and dithiopyr. I always do that. I always invert things and I do them the opposite. But anyway, perdiamine first, and that's going to be at some point in March, probably late March. And then once we get into mid to late May, that's when you want to do your dithiopyr application. Now, as I've mentioned before, if you're going to go that pre-emergent route and you have plans to do spring seeding, you're probably going to want to reconsider, because, as I've talked about before, you can't spring seed in conjunction to perdiamine and dithiopyr, as the product's benefits will work against you in stunting the growth of your new seeds. That's not a chance you want to take. So you got to evaluate your situation and make a decision and see which one is going to work better for you in the long run. Now, if you ask me, the best thing to do, if you have a really bad crabgrass problem, but your lawn is somewhat thin, but you got a good turf stand in there, is go ahead and put down your spring pre-emergents as scheduled, and then once you get into once you get into late summer, early fall, which is when we're going to do our overseeding, then you can fill in the gaps. But in the meantime, what you can do while you're putting down your pre-emergents is you can mow properly. You can mow twice a week. Making sure that you're taking off no more than 1/3 of the grass blade's length in a single mowing. And on top of that, you can go as crazy as you want, really, with mowing. You can mow every day for all I care. But ideally, twice a week at least, and you should be fine. What?
I'm laughing at one of the comments.
Is that at the bottom?
Yeah.
I see Jake opted for the cheap internet plan. Man, what are you guys busting my balls for? I'm trying my hardest. Nothing I can do. All you guys do is you come in here and you bust my ball. I'm just kidding. Anyway, as I was saying, my best bet to you would be nurture the lawn, mow it properly, so twice a week at least, at most maybe once every 2 days, once every day, whatever you want to do, doesn't matter. And then in conjunction to that, fertility, you want to make sure you're fertilizing monthly as well as irrigation when needed, which is going to be during the hot, dry summer months. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to water deep and infrequently. Now, if you want, there's tons more videos on this channel, tons of video support. Go check it out. Tons of information here about the big three. Oh, hey, the nice guy joined. What's up, nice guy? Jimmy, how you doing, man? my boy from Utah. So, Jimmy, I'm actually going to throw a little hint at you. I'm actually going to be up your way in a couple of... I'm going to be up your way at some point next weekend, okay? So if you guys want to do something throughout Saturday into Sunday, maybe get all the lawn guys together, we'll figure something out. But anyway, I'm going to be down there interviewing a special person in the lawn care community. Stay tuned for that. Is it? It's kicking out?
Yep.
Yep, it's kicking out on my end too.
Oh, I mean, literally get dumped out. Okay, someone's definitely joined the Lawnfires. It's killing me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else, Northern Illinois region? I know Jake is kids close. I know Jake is close. Me and Lawn Creeps are talking about getting a group chat together for having a meetup somewhere around here. That's a great way to advertise it, right? What?
I blame your internet.
My internet's, I'll just say it right now, my internet is bullshit. It is. I'm not afraid to say that, it really is. I have AT&T, it's crappy. Hear that, AT&T? Your internet sucks.
Okay, we're back. The stream just now has to catch up with me.
Okay. As we were saying, we'll have to figure something out, like maybe a hotspot. Anyone else? Oh, God, what is up with me tonight? I'm considering just prodiamine for next year. The one I'm looking at resides for 4 to 5 months. If applied in mid to late April, will that be sufficient enough? Okay. So, I'm considering just prodiamine for next year. The one I'm looking resides 4 to 5 months. If I apply in mid to late April, will that be sufficient enough? Yeah, it'll be fine. In fact, if you want to hit the lawn a little earlier than that, that's totally fine. In fact, as we've talked about before, once your temperatures hit 55 degrees, then you're good to go. And you can do that anytime from late February to early March. And then once you get to, once you get 6 months into it, you have a decision you can make. You can either A, go ahead and put your grass seed down, or B, you can go ahead and put your pre-emergent down. As I've talked about before, you really can't do both of them together, because if you do, you're actually going to use the advantages of a pre-emergent against you, as they will prune the roots of your new baby grass seedlings, right? So that's not something you want to do. So if you have the option, you can only pick one out of the other. Now, as I've also mentioned before, there are alternatives out there like Metzotrione, aka Tenacity, which allow you to put down a pre-emergent and allow you to seed at the same time. But if you do that, the one trade-off you're going to get there is that you're only going to get 6 months residual out of the product. And I don't know why they do that, but I think that the only reason you get 6 weeks out of it is because of the fact that if you get any more residual out of it, that's probably going to be enough to hurt the grass. I don't know. I'm no chemist. I didn't make the product, but that's how they make it. So what I would do at this point is, no, that's not what I'm saying. So at that point, you're going to have to apply a pre-emergent every 6 weeks throughout the year, which is no big deal. But if you don't have a big crabgrass problem, it shouldn't be an issue. If you want to do it as a one-time application, just to kind of give you an extra shield there, that's totally fine as well. Not going to hurt a thing.
I'm laughing at one of Kenny's,
Kenny Cooper.
Yeah, and then the internet just stops. The bandwidth completely shut off on me for a second.
Is it still?
No, it's perfectly fine now.
Oh, it's not, it's good now. It just goes out every now and then.
Yeah, I blame your internet.
So do I. You know what though? Here's the goal with this show. Eventually, I'd like to go Joe Rogan style, get my own little podcast studio, and we can talk about real internet.
Yeah, and then I can actually have my good setups.
And then you can be my Jamie. You're like, can you pull that up, Jamie?
Yeah, I can actually do some good setups then.
Yep. Is it a fact that you have to mow your grass different directions every mow? This is a great question, DIY. In fact, it's one that I get quite often, and the answer to that is yes and no. Now, to explain the first part of that, yes, you want to make sure that you're varying up your mowing patterns, because if you don't, you're eventually going to train your grass to lay one way. I want you to imagine this. Let's say that you continually mow your lawn in the same direction. You do that week after week after week, month after month, year after year, and as you do that, you're training the grass to lay over. And as you do that, you're going to create more problems, because your grass is going to be laying this way, which is actually going to suffocate the roots down below, thin out the lawn, cause disease, all sorts of things, so we don't want that. So one way to combat that problem is just to vary up your mowing pattern. Now, to answer the second part of that, no, I mean no as in you don't have to vary your mowing patterns every single time you mow it, right? Because if you're mowing twice a week or every 2 days like I did that one year, the last thing you want to do, especially if you have a big lawn, is vary the mowing pattern up. I understand that. So what you could do is maybe every second or third mow that you do, if you're mowing every 2 days religiously, or at least twice a week, is you can do 2 mows in the same direction, and then after those 2 mows you can change it up. Because the idea here being is that as we continue to mow this lawn in different directions, we're not going to have to fear the lawn laying down in a certain direction. We're not going to have to fear the lawn being trained to lay down in a certain direction, which can suffocate the lawn, which can actually suffocate the lawn, thin it out, and create disease. Right. So the idea being is that mow it differently every second or third mow, and you're not going to have any problems. So yeah, Grace, Aiden's not here tonight. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's at his dad's tonight, hanging out with family. So he's not on here. Didn't talk to him tonight, but I guess that's what happens when all your friends live in different cities and states, right? Just it's hard to get somebody who can fully commit, which I understand. Aiden's got stuff to do. No pressure on him. He's done a great job for me. He just couldn't be here tonight. Okay. Oh, now people are saying I lost the video, but they have the audio.
It's perfect on my end. Can't blame me on that one. It says it's perfect.
So, real quick, let me ask you guys, is the picture okay? Does it look good? Will I get an A for looking good? Gotta go for tonight. Nice chilling with everyone. See you all next week. Andy, thank you for coming in. It means a lot, brother. It's back. Yay.
That wasn't my end. My
I know.
end said perfect.
That's what happens when you try to up the quality of this stuff. Okay, great. So about 30 more minutes. A+. Awesome. Looks good. Hear that? I got an A. As Pat would say. Man, I'm so focused on the stream, I'm losing track of the chat. Well, here we go. You need Arrow, Jake. It will let you get a full signal down in your basement. You know what, Jim Bob? I'll have to look into that. Thank you for the suggestion. Jimmy, hit me up, bro. Would love to hang out. Yeah, Jimmy, I'm going to be up that way. I'm going to be in Park City. I'm going to be in Park City next week. So if you want to come out that way, I don't know what's going on, but we'll probably finalize those details once I get down there. I don't know what's going on just yet, but yeah, Jimmy, down to hang out anytime, bro. It's awesome meeting you at GIE, by the way. Then the internet just stops. Jake, is a Winterizer fertilizer application meant to keep turf-type tall fescue green during the winter, or just help with early spring green-up? I'm in the transition zone. Gary Herrera, no need to overthink this one. As we've talked about on the channel before, the idea of the Winterizer application isn't necessarily to give us results right now, even though that might happen for you because you're in the transition zone and the weather's a little bit different. The idea is more so to stock the lawn up for next season because, as I've talked about before, at this point in the year, nitrogen, which is naturally volatile, meaning it can easily evaporate at normal temperatures, the nitrogen is going to become more stable or less volatile, less likely to evaporate as the temperatures get cooler, which means it's going to become more stable, like I said a couple of seconds ago. And because of that, it's very effective to apply it right now because the plant's objective is going to change, right? Instead of nitrogen being able to evaporate up and out of the air, which happens with a lot of applications throughout the year, which can sacrifice some efficacy, you're applying it at a cooler point in the year when the temperatures are cooler, nitrogen is stable, when the nitrogen will get down into the root system where it will overwinter, and then once springtime comes around and we get those warmer temperatures coming back in, that nitrogen is going to release, thus giving you the deepest, darkest, greenest, thickest lawn on the block before anyone else. So I hope that answered your question. Gary, if you need any clarification, please let me know in the comments. More than happy to help you out. This sucks. Another moderator just handled this. That's you, right?
I just make sure all the video works.
Just make sure. As you're probably on my Wi-Fi right now on your phone. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Was it weird having to shovel snow while knowing you have another mow, or take it still needed? What? So sometimes I have no idea what these people are saying. It's nothing against you guys, but please correct your grammar if you can. I have a hard time reading some of these. Was it weird having to shovel snow while knowing another mow, or take it still needed this fall? What? I don't know. I'll answer that later. Hey Jake, I battled the disease and lost a good amount of tall fescue. Aeration brought back a good amount. Thinking of overseeding with a bit of Kentucky bluegrass to help fill in at times. Thoughts? Adam, this is a very unique situation here. So what happened? Oh, you battled the disease. Lost a good amount of tall fescue. Aeration brought back a good amount. Thinking of overseeding with a bit of KBG at times. Thoughts? Well, It really depends on where you're at, Adam. Now, at this point, I really don't recommend bluegrass because it takes a really, really long time to germinate. In fact, about 6 weeks. But I could be wrong on that. Don't take my word for it. Because based on what I've been hearing in the media now, they're coming out with newer varieties that can germinate within like 10 days. But I'm not 100% sure on it, so at this point, I recommend using something a little faster. Maybe even some more tall fescue, because what I want you to realize is that it's a good idea to seed in bluegrass when you can, but with such a short time period, it's probably not going to be all that successful, assuming that you're in the north like I am. So what I would do in this situation is I would just go ahead and seed with a little more tall fescue, as it will germinate, especially Pete's GCI turf type tall fescue blend. Seed with that stuff, keep it irrigated daily, and that stuff will germinate within 5 days. And then after that, you irrigate it for a good 30 days from day one that you seed it, and I promise you, you will have great results. What's up, Jake? How's the weather? Lambert, the weather is looking up right now, albeit this week it's been snowing a lot, but it's actually starting to get a little warmer again, which is very predictable with our weather nowadays. I honestly don't know what the deal is with the weather. This is what our weather pattern looks like right now. 1 week it's warm, 1 week it's cool, 1 week it's warm, 1 week it's cool. It doesn't affect me, but I can only imagine how confused my lawn is right now, because typically this is when the temperatures go straight down and the days get shorter, and the days get shorter, and this is when the lawn is typically going to go into dormancy. But this year, I could just imagine, with those temperatures going up and down and up and down, it's confusing the lawn. Like, the lawn is like, what do I do? Do I go into dormancy or do I stay awake, right? It's trying to make that decision, and the weather's just been no help lately. But honestly, there's nothing I could do about it except just let Mother Nature do its thing, and then correct what I can in the following year, or possibly possibly as we finish up the year here, depending on how the weather goes. Because as I've said before, it's been like this, like a frequency wave, just hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Very, very confusing. Has anyone ever got weird looks from their neighbors or wife taking pictures of the grass blades in the soil? DIY all the time. My neighbors will walk by and be like, "What are you doing?" Well, I'll just tell them, "Hey, I'm doing my job. That's how I make my money. That's what I do." Be like, "What are you doing staring at me? Don't you have better stuff to do?" As a matter of fact, I'm sure some of you guys might like this. When people stare at me, I look at them and I glare them right back. And I do that until they look away or say something. And I just be like, why are you guys looking at me? It's kind of weird. Checking me out or something? Especially if it's a dude. Ain't right. I think I got a good dry stash of wood tonight. What do we got here? Thanks, Jake. I'm here in sunny SoCal. I can see soil temperatures are starting to cool a bit for me. Appreciate all the videos. By the way, I followed your mentor, LCN's lawn disease steps, and it worked. Thanks. Adam, glad I could help you, buddy. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I am happy to help. Try making a video and talking to yourself holding a camera. That's when you think that's when you yourself think you're weird the first few times. You know what, Kenny Cooper? I can disagree with that, because my first times they were kind of crazy. But after my first take, I realized, hey, I'm doing my job like everybody else. It may not be the same type of job, but it's a job. Shed's a little quiet. At least the fire looks good. Man, this is a topic I can't even get on because I don't have a whole lot of experience with this. Now, based on what I've been hearing, my explicit wants to know, what are your top 3 favorite organic fertilizers? Well, I don't have a whole lot of experience with organic. Now, I have used Milorganite in the past, but that was about it, as well as a couple of others. Milorganite is definitely my go-to. Ringer Lawn Restore, great, especially if you're looking to get some potassium in there, which Milorganite lacks. That's the only problem I have with Milorganite, is that there's no potassium in there. Potassium is very important as it regulates water and nutrient flow into the plant root. But another one on top of that, it's actually part of the colognes that they're making called Lawn Food. It's very similar to Ringer. It's a 1001, 1002, I think it is. But those are 3 great products. And then, of course, you got all the colognes that they're making at Home Depot, like the 430s, the 640s, right? They're just making all sorts of products that cologne actual Milorganite. So it's really, what's the best way to say it? It really doesn't matter what your favorites are. If you see anything that's organic, works perfectly. Gravelback, the wood sounds nice and dry because I actually did grab a dry stash from my neighbor's backyard before we started. And yeah, originally I was trying to burn my new pile here, but I'm going to let that season and dry out for a little bit so that I can actually get something out of it. Because the last thing I want to do is try and burn wood that won't burn and get all that creosote build up in my fireplace. So we're going to try and be careful with that. But if we got to use it, worst comes to worst. Hi Jake, have you been playing the saxophone anymore lately? Yes, I have. In fact, I play it twice, 3 times a week. I play it 3 times a week in jazz band in class. We're practicing for our next concert, which I think is going to be at some point in March. We have 3 more to go, and then that's it for high school jazz. But I do plan to continue on playing independently. But yeah, for the most part, I've also been practicing a little bit. If you follow me on my my Facebook account, which Tom, I presume you do, I do videos here and there where I actually show some things I'm doing with my alto, whether it's new licks, new tones, whatever it is. I'm trying to get some more videos out there of that stuff because I know you guys like that kind of thing. But yeah, in the meantime, haven't really shared much on it lately, just been busy.
I still have my 2.
What?
I still have my 2.
Wait, you have an alto?
I have an alto and a soprano.
You have a soprano?
Yeah.
Shit, dude, that's awesome. When I start making music, I'll have to call you over. Wait, do you ever play your soprano?
I play them every once in a while. But yeah, I can play music.
What genre do you play?
I kind of go through our old sheet music. I think I'm practicing with it.
Did you ever play jazz?
Yeah, I did a jazz with my baritone.
Nice.
Which I kept being yelled by Walton every day.
What?
I kept being yelled by Walton every day.
Yeah, Walton. Good times.
Yeah, because I kept using 3s, and I should have been using 2.5s. And yet he was questioning me how I could play low A on a baritone with a fiddle.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, even on my alto, I use 2.5s.
I use 3s.
On your alto? When you play jazz? See, here's the thing about, real quick, in case you guys don't know, me and my audio tech or audio-visual tech are geeking out about our old high school, middle school band days. So, him and I, we both play alto saxophone, and on top of that, John over here plays soprano and bari. So you have quite a bit of experience there. 2 different keys to think about. I think the soprano and the tenor are...
Soprano, tenor, and bass are the same. Piccolo, alto, and baritone are the same. And contrabass.
Yep. So, what was I going to say here? Oh yeah. So I like to use 2.5s in jazz, and I also use like a more natural embouchure. Like my lips, this is my lips all the time. It gives me that. It gives me that like brighter, jazzy sound. Like I noticed that the last time I played on the show, I had more of a classical sound. I was like, "What the hell does this sound like?" And then I realized it was my armature. I was playing because before 2 years of jazz, all I played was 4 to 5 years of symphonic band. So I was so used to the classical armature, and I finally changed it up and I brought my lips down. And once I did that, I brought my lips down, loosened up a little bit. I got that brighter sound. On top of that, the 2.5 just adds more room for vibration.
It's a softer reed.
Yeah, it's a softer reed.
You go lower with it.
I like the softer reed for jazz, but for classical, a harder reed like a 3 is better. But I haven't played classical in like 2 years. Right, anyway, enough geeking out. Let's see what people are asking. Jake, I totally recommend you check out Higher Bricks Lawn Fertilizer. Has all the NPK and all the micronutrients. It should be a banned substance because it is ridiculous. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll have to check that stuff out, though. I've heard Pete over at GCI talking a lot about it, so I'll have to see if I can get my hands on some. Hybrix, if you're watching this, give me a call. Perfect. I just bought a few bags of lawn food. It's 1002. Yeah, man, great product. Like I said, clones the Ringer Lawn Restore product. You get the 10% nitrogen in there, which is going to help with top growth, and then you also get some potassium in there. As I mentioned before, that's going to be the regulator of the group. It's going to help regulate water and nutrient. It's going to regulate water and nutrient penetration into the plant root so that you don't give it too much too fast. Is your turf showing any damage in response to the freezes? Turf therapy? Not really. I mean, if anything, along the edges is where it's the worst because that's where the pavement is. But the actual main piece of the lawn, like everything in the middle that's furthest away from the concrete, still looking really good. Not too worried about that. Okay. This weather really shortened our season here in Northwest Indiana. A lot of people barely finished their applications before the snow. Gravelback, honestly, within a week and a half here, we're going to be in the 40s. So I'm going to take advantage of that, fertilize my lawn one more time, mow it, get all the leaves off, do what I got to do. And then after that, just pray for another couple warm days because I have all the leaves that I still have a good amount of leaves that have to fall off the tree, and then I got to clean those up, mulch them back into the ground. So, yeah, that's my plan. I'm sure you can do the same thing because, like I mentioned before, the weather's not going down for good. It's still going to be going up and down, which is kind of bad, but it's good because it gives you more time to get things done. Fish duck. That's a good one. Fish duck. Curious, what is Double Dark? Okay, so what Double Dark is it's a mixture from these guys right here, Green County Next Fertility Products. These guys I've been representing now for well over a year and a half. In fact, I think we got some more collaborations coming up very soon here in the 2020 lawn season, so stay tuned for that. Tons of good content to come there. Something a little different, something you guys aren't really used to, but I'm not going to give all the details away here. You'll have to wait for that. But anyway, what it is it's a mixture of two products from their Next Fertility line that contain a high amount of iron, and that is going to be the 002 microgreen topped off with an application of 700. So the 700 product, that contains about 6% iron, whereas the microgreen product, the 002, contains about 3% iron. So both of those combined, I like to apply the green effect at 6 ounces per thousand and the microgreen at 9 ounces per thousand, and with that I get a really high amount of iron that gives me a really nice color pop within a couple of days that will set my lawn apart. So that's what Double Dark is. It's a mixture of two products that are abundant in iron from these guys right here. If you want to learn more about it, just type in Jake the Lawn Kid Double Dark and my video should come up explaining the application and what it is. What happened?
Squirrel who've been in the chat. Squirrel who've been in the chat. You missed the question.
Okay. What's up, Jake? I plan on using Milorganite this summer. Can I use the double dark method along with the Milorganite? TNF, yes you can. As I mentioned before, it's only going to help. Nothing to fear here. These products are very eco-friendly. They're not harmful in any way, shape, or form. So if you want to use them synergistically, that is totally fine. Like I said, only going to help. You'll do fine. Yeah, I often do that. I miss a lot of questions. Before green effect, along with microgreen, was it something else used to do with double dark, but I don't remember. Explicit. So basically what double dark was a term that I actually came up with on the spot when Alan and I, my old neighbor, when he lived here, him and I were going to look at one of my customer lawns down the street, and we looked at it, and Al was pretty astonished about the stripes in there. He's like, "Wow, Jake, this looks good. How'd you get the stripes?" And I was like, "Well, I just did what you taught me over the years. I did the double light, and then after that, what I do is I do double dark, double light, double dark, double light, and then double dark is just that saying that just stuck. And then after I said that, here we are, a couple years after I said it, and now we used it to name a cocktail that we came up with using the next fertility product. So that is what double dark is, and that is where it originated from. It was never intended to be the name of this cocktail. It's just something that I came up with on the spot. Little 14-year-old Jake just spitting out some facts. I guess that's what you could say. I'm not 14. I'm 18, by the way, but at the time I was 14. Yeah, you guys get it. Anyway. Hey Jake, hit the thumbs up and show JTLK some love. Keep it up. Have a great night. Adam, thank you so much for your support, man. Glad I could help you out. Once again, it's people like you that keep me going here, so I thank you, sir. Matt McGurian, what's up, brother? Another fellow Hoosier who actually lives down the street from us. Unfortunately, Matt, I am so sorry I didn't call you ahead of time for that tree that we were cutting on 85th and Klein. I should have called you. Next time, I will be sure to call you. And it's actually pretty funny because when you told me that you had a farm boss, I was laughing so hard because my neighbor has the same farm boss. He loves it. He lives and dies by it. He loves the farm boss. So I'm sure if you would have came along, we would have had a great time. We probably would have knocked out a lot. I mean, we did knock out a lot, but we probably would have been able to take more wood home in a day and cut more wood as well by having that extra help. So yeah, man, the next time a tree falls over on the intersection, we'll give you a call. We'll do that.
Give me an axe, I can have a tree cut down in 5 minutes. I'm not lying, I've done it before. No, wait, that was with a shovel.
That was with a shovel, okay.
Long story. I got
okay.
Yeah, my mom's here.
I can't wait for this snow to melt and the soil to dry out and mulch those leaves again. I was able to mulch and put down the Winterizer prior to the snow. Yes, Matt, I can't wait either. I still have a ton to do before we go into the winter officially. Dylan, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hey, Kenny, vid's coming along nicely. Awesome. Jake, what was the quadruple dark mix? Okay, so basically what it is it's 4 fertility products from Green County Fertilizer, their next fertility line. It's the 1801 Green Punch, 402 Flora Green, 700 Green Effect, and 002 Microgreen, all mixed together at 3 ounces per thousand each product. So that's 12 ounces total with all 4 combined. And the reason we call it quadruple dark is because if there's one thing that all of those products contain in some way, shape, or form, it is the iron, which is going to give us that nice quadruple dark blue-green look that sets us apart. So that's why, that's what quadruple dark is, and why it's so great.
I love bluegrass.
Bluegrass is nice.
The only thing that grows around here too.
Oh, Kentucky Blue, I love you, as I always say.
It's the only stuff that grows in this weather.
That's not it. We have bluegrass, ryegrass, and fescue.
We have ryegrass around here?
Yeah, we got rye, perennial rye.
I didn't know that.
So my lawn in the back, that's mostly ryegrass. And then next door, we have another grass type that's tall fescue. So we have fescue grass. What's interesting about fescue I'm sure those of you guys who are new in here, you're going to love this. So fescue is actually, it's a little too far north to grow here. Fescue does way better in the transition zone. So you're talking the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, those areas, right? Fescue is made for that, where it stays a little warmer, a little bit longer. But that's not to say that it can't be grown up here, because it can. It looks great, but it's just because it's not really made for this environment, it tends to go in and out of dormancy, and it does suffer a little bit more damage compared to the bluegrass lawns, which we have a ton of around here. So for those of you guys who want to have fescue lawns around here, I highly encourage it. You're going to have really great results, but just know that fescue does better a little further south. What happened?
One of Matt's comments.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love that. So, Region Rye, you know what, Matt? That's the next shirt, man. Region Rye. Because Connor, you don't really know much about this, but Connor Ward, our buddy in the community here, has termed ryegrass as sissy ryegrass, because that's really what it is. It's just a way to substitute the waiting and the struggle that you deal with when it comes to growing bluegrass, because if there's anything that's notorious about bluegrass, it's the fact that it takes forever to germinate. Now, it's not to say it's a bad grass type, but it just takes a long time to germinate. So often what people will do is they'll seed with a mixture of bluegrass and ryegrass. And I guess Connor wants to bust everybody's balls now who seeds with ryegrass, because he thinks of it as like a cheater grass. In fact, yeah, that's exactly what he calls it, a cheater grass, because it germinates at a third of the time that bluegrass actually germinates. Right? And because of that, that's what he calls it. So, anyway, we got 2 more minutes, and then 7 o'clock, we got to get off here. So, if you have any last-minute questions, I recommend you ask them. Sorry to sound so blunt there, but when you got stuff to do the next morning, you got to get to bed at a reasonable hour. Okay. So, not sir, not yet, holding it old school. Let's do it. You have to be careful with the iron supplementation. I tested my lawn after using Milorganite for a while, and it was through the roof. I adjusted my pH and stopped the iron. Sean McLaughlin, iron isn't really a big issue for me. Now, I do spray it regularly in the summer at very low rates to microdose or spoon feed, if you will. That's kind of why I spray the quadruple dark, to get some more of that iron in there to get me through the summer. But other than that, I'm not really giving the lawn a whole lot. Besides, all I've been giving my lawn mostly are specialty products. So the RGS, the Humic 12, the Aerate, dethatch on the hot days. That's all I've really been giving my lawn here. Okay. Got to go back to work. Have a good evening, everyone. TNF4, you too, man. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. The single reason I went perennial rye over Kentucky blue germination time, but I also wanted to experiment stripeability compared to KBG. You know what, Matt? I agree with you, because especially with the tight time frame, you want to get some seeding done very hard. Okay, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos like this. Stay tuned for more streams like this, as well as more videos that come out every Monday, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, every Monday of every week. With that, I'm Jake the Lawn Kid. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. If I don't see you guys next time, your lawn is going to be dominated. See you later. There we go. Stop.